half a teaspoon. 1 gallon of water, 3 minutes of stirring. That is the entire recipe. And by the end of the first week, the plants you pour this on will look healthier than they have all season. Corns, bell pepper, cucumbers, potatoes, squash, even the little herb pots sitting on your kitchen windowsill. Across every plant you grow, the result is the same. Fungal disease slows down. Leaves stop developing those ugly brown and white patches. Fruit comes in cleaner and stronger. And your plants stop losing the battle they have quietly been losing for months without you ever noticing. The cost is almost nothing. The ingredient is already sitting in your kitchen right now. It has been there this whole time. Not in the garden aisle, not in a specialty grow store, in your baking cabinet, right next to the flour and the sugar. Baking soda, sodium bicarbonate. And while the garden fungicide industry makes billions every year selling sprays in plastic bottles with warning labels, the single most overlooked weapon against plant disease in home gardens is not a chemical compound you need gloves to handle. It is something you bake with on a Sunday afternoon. But before I show you the exact recipe that turns half a teaspoon of a kitchen staple into the most practical disease prevention tool in your garden, you need to understand something that almost every baking soda gardening video gets completely wrong. Most tutorials will tell you to just spray baking soda on everything and watch your garden transform. That version of the advice is wrong. And it is the reason so many people try it once, see their leaves burn, and decide it does not work. Stay with me. Because what baking soda actually does is more specific than what most channels are selling. But used correctly on the right plants at the right time, it stops problems that no store-bought spray in any garden center can touch as cheaply or as safely. The story of baking soda does not start in a garden either. Sodium bicarbonate was first produced commercially in the early 1800s in New York. It was sold as a leavening agent for bread and baked goods. Bakers used it to make dough rise. Doctors used it to settle upset stomachs. Households used it to neutralize odors. For almost 150 years, nobody connected it to plant health at all. The agricultural use started quietly in the early 1900s when farmers began noticing that alkaline soils seemed to suppress certain fungal diseases more effectively than acidic ones. Eventually, researchers traced the connection back to pH. Fungi that attack plants thrive in slightly acidic environments. When the surface environment shifts more alkaline, even just slightly, fungal spores struggle to germinate and spread. Baking soda raises the pH on the surface of a leaf. It does not kill the plant. It does not poison the soil. It simply makes the leaf surface a hostile environment for the fungal spores trying to set up there. Here is the part most videos never explain. Baking soda does not kill fungus that is already deep inside a plant. It is not a cure. It is a barrier. A surface treatment that changes the conditions on the leaf so that new spores land and fail to take hold. The most common fungal diseases in home gardens are powdery mildew, black spot on roses, early blight on tomatoes, and downy mildew on cucumbers and squash. All of them spread through airborne spores, landing on leaf surfaces and finding exactly the slightly acidic, moist conditions they need to germinate. When you spray a diluted baking soda solution onto your plant leaves, you are changing the chemistry of that surface. The pH shift is small, but it is enough. Spores land and find the conditions wrong. They fail to establish. The existing spread slows. New infection does not take hold as easily. This is not folk wisdom. Cornell University published research in 1990 documenting the antifungal effect of sodium bicarbonate on powdery mildew in greenhouse plants. The study confirmed that a diluted baking soda spray significantly reduced powdery mildew development compared to untreated plants. That research has been cited and built on dozens of times since. Here is the detail that should completely change how you think about the white powder on your squash leaves every summer. Powdery mildew is not actually a single disease. It is a category of related fungal pathogens, each one specific to a different family of plants. The mildew attacking your cucumbers is a different species from the one attacking your roses, but they all share one vulnerability. They all struggle to germinate and spread on alkaline surfaces. Baking soda exploits that shared weakness across every one of them at once. One ingredient, one spray bottle, one application every 10 to 14 days. And you have addressed the primary fungal threat across your entire garden without a single chemical warning label. Now, I want to be straight with you because honesty is what separates useful gardening advice from the kind that wastes your time and damages your plants. Baking soda is not a miracle fix. It does not reverse fungal infection that has already taken hold deep inside leaf tissue. If your plant is already heavily infected, covered in white powder, or black spots on most of its leaves, baking soda will slow the spread, but it will not undo the damage already done. It also has real risks if you use it incorrectly. Baking soda, used at too high a concentration, will burn leaves. Sodium builds up in soil over time with repeated applications and can eventually interfere with how plants absorb water. And spraying in direct hot sun with water on leaves can cause scorching that looks almost identical to the disease you were trying to prevent. The old gardening databases and university extension guides are right to flag these cautions, but they are sometimes so cautious that they bury the larger truth. Used at the correct dilution, applied at the right time of day, on a preventive schedule before disease gets established, baking soda is one of the most effective and accessible tools a home gardener has. Here is how to know whether your garden will actually benefit from this. Look at your plants. If you see white powdery coating on the surface of leaves, especially on squash, cucumbers, zucchini, or pumpkins, that is powdery mildew, and baking soda directly addresses it. If your rose leaves are developing black spots surrounded by yellow halos, that is black spot fungus, and baking soda slows its spread. If your tomato leaves are showing dark brown spots with yellow rings, that is early blight, and this treatment helps. If you are gardening in a humid climate where leaves stay wet after rain or morning dew, fungal disease is almost certainly coming for your garden at some point every season. Preventive applications starting before you see symptoms give you the best results. If your garden is dry and your plants are healthy with no visible disease pressure, the effect is minimal and regular application is unnecessary. Now, here is the exact recipe. You will need half a teaspoon of plain baking soda, the same box sitting in your kitchen right now. Store brand, name brand, it does not matter. Plain sodium bicarbonate with no added ingredients. The box costs under $2 and contains enough material for dozens of gallons of finished spray solution. You will need 1 gallon of water. Room temperature water dissolves baking soda better than cold. If your tap water is heavily chlorinated, let it sit in an open container for a couple of hours first. You will need 1 teaspoon of liquid dish soap. This is not optional. The soap acts as a surfactant. Without it, the baking soda solution beads up on waxy or slightly fuzzy leaves and runs straight off before it can do anything. The soap helps the solution spread across the leaf surface and stick there long enough to work. Some experienced gardeners also add 1 teaspoon of vegetable oil or neem oil to the mix. The oil adds a physical barrier that makes it even harder for spores to get a foothold on the leaf surface, and it extends how long the protection lasts after application. Here is how you put it together. Pour the half teaspoon of baking soda into the bottom of a gallon container. Add a small amount of warm water and stir until it fully dissolves. Add the dish soap. Add the oil if you are using it. Fill the rest of the container to 1 full gallon with cool water. Stir gently. Pour into a standard pump sprayer. Your solution is ready immediately. Application timing matters as much as the recipe itself. Never spray in the middle of a hot sunny day. Wet leaves plus direct heat plus soap is a combination that causes leaf scorch on sensitive plants. Spray in the early morning so the solution has time to dry before peak sun. Or spray in the late evening after the heat has passed. Cover both the tops and undersides of leaves when you spray. Fungal spores land on both surfaces, and the underside of leaves is where many infections begin. Apply once every 10 to 14 days during your active growing season as a preventive treatment. If you are already dealing with active disease, you can apply every 7 days until the spread slows, then back off to the regular schedule. 1 gallon of finished solution covers a significant portion of a home garden. For most people, 1 batch is enough for a full application across all their vulnerable plants. This recipe works best on corn, peppers, cucumber, melons, etc. Those are the plants that face the heaviest fungal disease pressure in most home gardens. They are also the ones where preventing early infection makes the biggest difference to your final yield. If disease gets established early in a tomato plant, It works backward from the bottom leaves, upward through the whole plant. Stopping that progression in the first weeks of the season can be the difference between a plant that produces through October and one that collapses in August. There is an upgraded version of this recipe worth knowing about. Combine the half teaspoon of baking soda with 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar before adding either to your water. The vinegar adds an additional acidic compound that creates an unstable pH environment on the leaf surface, one that swings from the acid side to the alkaline side in a way that is even harder for fungal spores to adapt to. Organic growers have used this combination for years. Apply it exactly the same way as the basic recipe. A few honest cautions before you go. Do not increase the concentration thinking it will work better. Half a teaspoon per gallon is the effective rate. Going higher will not kill more fungus. It will burn your leaves and potentially leave sodium deposits in your soil that cause problems in future seasons. Do not use this as a cure for diseases that require a different treatment. Bacterial infections, viral mosaic diseases, and root rot are not fungal problems, and baking soda does nothing for them. If your plant is yellowing from the roots up or wilting despite adequate water, the problem is not fungal, and this spray will not help. Do not apply more than once a week on sensitive plants like basil or young seedlings. Their leaves are thinner and more easily damaged. The next time you open your kitchen cabinet and reach past the baking soda for something else, stop for a second. That yellow box has been sitting there, completely overlooked as a garden tool, for longer than most of the products on any garden center shelf have existed. For under $2, you are holding one of the most practical preventive tools available to any home gardener. Something that slows the single most common category of plant disease across everything you grow. That costs less than a cup of coffee. And that works through straightforward chemistry that university researchers confirmed decades ago. Your garden does not have to lose to powdery mildew every summer. The answer has been in your kitchen this whole time.